Welcome to sheep country, Logan Bray, Central Otago. And if you don't know where that is, I'll just chalk it in for you over here. Now this is the South Island, about right here, and we are about here. I've spent the last couple of days sharing with my old mate Ray here. And how are you, Ray, all right?
Good as gold, mate.
Hear that? Good as gold. They say that a lot down here in the south. I love it. And it's appropriate too, because we're pretty close to a lot of the old diggings from the Otago Gold Rush days. We're heading down that way in a ticky or two, but right now, let's go knock off the rest of my telly.
On a good day, a top shearer can do 50 merinos an hour. That's nearly one a minute.
Now, funny enough, some people think that one sheep was pretty much like another. But any farmer would recognise this fella here as a merino on the count of his pink nose, his horns, his white hooves, deep chest, and this fine, fine fleece. Look at that. The spinners just love it. Hey, Ray, how many of these to make a jersey?
Depends on how big your needles are, mate.
Tell you what, I'll be glad when this lot's over. This shearing's bloody hard yakking.
You have to shear a couple of hundred sheep to fill a bale of merino wool. But with a good gang and a top presser, the work can really go quick. And before you know it, it's time to be going.
I'll see you guys later, eh? Ciao. Cheerio.
300 million years ago, before the dinosaurs, Central Otago lay on the sea floor. These days, its Great Rock Plateau rises more than 600 metres above the coast. I reckon it's one of the wildest and most unforgiving places in New Zealand. A land of rocks and hard places, where only the tough and the strong survive. If you're really lucky, you might just spot a native falcon having its lunch. Unlike the hawk that eats dead animals, the falcon likes to kill its prey on the wing.
This is great country to ride through, but to do it you need a good strong horse like old Frosty here. Part Clydesdale, part warm-blooded. He's strong, dependable and sure-footed. You can trust your life with them. Now, just to give you a bit of idea what I mean, I'm going to take old Frosty straight down this bank into the river. Now, I know I'll be all right if I put my complete trust in the animal. But just to give you some idea of how it feels, I'm going to take this wee camcorder in my hand. And here we go. Look at that, good as gold.
It's hard to imagine that all this barren land was once covered in lush green forest until the moor hunters burnt it to the ground, trying to flush out the giant birds that once roamed this part of the country. It's amazing how humans can change a landscape. Amazing what a landscape can make you think about.
I love this kind of country. Badlands, all rocks and canyons. Type of country you'd expect to see in a cowboy movie. Okay, Rover, it's just you and me. I'm gonna count to 10, boy. And when I turn my back, I'm coming to get you, boy. Okay. Rover. Oh, you're out there somewhere, boy. I can smell you. There you are, boy. Oh, come on, boy. Come on.
Well, I guess we'll be moseying on off to part 2 now. We'll be searching for gold and catching Kura. See you soon.
At the edge of civilization, there's a place
Out and turned into wasteland by men who are hungry for gold. Like here at Bannockburn, where back in the 1860s, hundreds of miners turned a whole hillside into rubble.
The hills of central Otago are peppered with mine shafts and tunnels, just like this one, hacked out by miners trying to strike it rich. Not much going on around here these days, but let's go and have a look anyway, shall we? Come on. Come on, Rover. Come on, boy.
To many of the old miners who worked these claims, the mine wasn't just a place of work, it was home. They're long gone now, replaced by some new and even more determined residents.
Look, there's a weta.
Now, some people don't like wetters. Can't think why. I reckon they're beaut. They're related to grasshoppers and locusts. And while they may look scary, they're pretty harmless, really. Now, some wetters, like the tusked wetter, are very rare. And they're getting rarer by the day, because sometimes the females eat the males during sex.
You wouldn't have liked it in there, mate. That was awesome. Come on, mate.
It seems that everywhere you go in central Otago, you come across the remains of deserted mining towns. In its heyday, Bendigo was home to more than 400 wild men and a few wild women. It had half a dozen stores, a couple of hotels, and a school. But all that disappeared when the gold ran out. They were a tough breed, the miners. They had to be. The Otago winter can be pretty hard, so you had to be fairly special if you wanted to work the creek beds around here. Of course, some people, like my old mate Christine Allen, reckon there's still enough gold left in these Otago hills to make looking for it worthwhile. She's good fun, Christine, so I always try to catch up with her when I'm down this way.
G'day, Christine.
G'day, Grant. Long time no see.
How you going, mate?
Good as gold.
How's Kev?
Good.
The kids?
Good as gold.
Got a brew you got going on the bank over there, is it?
Sure is. Suppose you want one. Go make it yourself then.
Hey. Just the same, mate, just the same. There you go.
Still take milk?
Yes, thanks, Christine. How you been getting on? Are you getting much or what?
No.
You wouldn't tell me if you were anyway, would you?
No way.
I see you're still using your old cradle rig over here.
Yep, still hanging together.
I've just about forgotten how it works now.
All right, come on down and I'll show you. What you do is put a couple of shovel loads of pay dirt in the top, and then we're going to wash it through with some water.
Why do they call it pay dirt, Christine?
Well, hopefully it'll pay to look after you in your old age.
To find your gold, you have to tip out the sludge from the sack at the bottom of the cradle and swish it round in a pan. Now, I'm not a greedy bloke by nature, but there's something about that yellow stuff that can really get to you.
Should start to see it now out
Is
the
it?
back.
Look at that.
Get your thieving hands off.
We'd struck it lucky, but for me, the best was yet to come.
There they are.
Kura, freshwater crayfish.
Kuda are cousins to the saltwater crayfish, but unlike their mates that live in the sea, these guys have learned to live in streams and ponds, a long way from the ocean. Now, I've always called them kuda, but Christine has another name for them.
Yabbies.
Yabbies. Well, I don't care what you call them. They're neat to eat, so excuse us. We're going to grab ourselves some for lunch. Look at that, look at that.
You have to stand your waiters.
Look at that. Get into it, good.
If you want to get fancy, you might dip your kuda in olive oil and garlic butter. Or you might not.
Brad, you don't eat that bit. Oh, yes.
So what now, girl?
Thought I might go up to the dam and catch a fish. You want to come?
Too right. Great. I'll grab my horse and hound and we're gone, eh?
Now, as good a mate as Christine is, I have to say that watching someone fishing for trout when you haven't got a rod yourself is like watching paint dry.
We've just about been here long enough now for my clothes to go out of fashion.
The fish we got to get up the other day are flying fish anyway.
But it didn't last long, really, because relief from boredom was just over the hill in the shape of an old hunting mate of mine, Steve Brown.
Right, Ep.
Oh, g'day, Steve here.
G'day, Steve. How are you, mate? Where are you at the moment?
Oh, we're just coming up Rough Ridge. Where are you?
Down at the pool burn, mate.
Bullburn. Oh, we're just out looking for tar. I've got some clients coming in next week from America. Do you fancy a tiki tour?
Good as gold. Love to.
Okay, we're only about 5 minutes away. I'll see you there. Winning.
Old Rover was none too pleased to be left behind, but it was only for a wee while, and I knew he'd have a good time with Chris. who'd offered to take him and Frosty the horse back to the hut. Good on you, Christine. You're a winner. Now, where are those mountain tar? Tar were brought to New Zealand in 1905. A gift from the Duke of Bedford. And what a gift!
So, Steve, you're obviously still in the hunting business?
Yeah, that's right. Bendigo Station Safaris. We get a lot of clients from America.
Do you now?
Yep, they pay big money to hunt big game.
Yeah? So what's it worth for one of your clients to get a bull tar?
Why, do you want one?
Yeah, might do.
Have you got $3,000 on you?
Yeah, I'll take two. Not. Us Kiwis can get them for free.
Tar like to live in remote places and are really hard to find. As with a lot of wildlife, you have to be patient and be prepared to put in the hard yards if you want a result. Like Christine, whose patience was finally paying off.
Feels like it's a biggie. Beauty, look at that.
Look, there's quite a mob of them in there. Yeah. And there they are. A couple of good bulls, about 80 to 100 kilos. You have to keep very still though, because tar have got excellent eyesight. And if we move, we'll spook them. Watching tar bounce from one rock to another makes you realise how perfectly adapted they are to life in the mountains. Their hooves have a hard rim of keratin around the edges. That's the same stuff that your fingernails are made of, with a soft, spongy pad inside. It's as if Mother Nature has given them their own set of Nikes. It was turning out to be a great day. Chris had caught a couple of brown trout,
Those bulls
and
would be
Steve and I had spotted a couple of bull tars that would make his American hunting clients real happy.
Some older ones with bigger horns.
They're dags the way they get around, don't they?
Yeah, I know, they're very, very strange. They come out of the bush.
Hey,
Just like that.
do it again. Nothing like acting the goat now and then.
See you, Logan.
How's it? Where are you? Where you go? I got lucky. Cheers, Chris. Look at this. Look at this. A beautiful brown trout. Good on you, Chris. You're a winner. All prepared and all seasoned, ready to go. Just gonna wrap it up. Earth it on the embers. And there's Charlie. That's my dinner.
Okay. While that's cooking, I'd better go and sort out old Rover.
There you go. So what do we think about Otago? Good as gold. See you next time. Hooroo. Watch your step, boy.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.
Dear Santa, I would love it if Wellington could win the Ramfooty Shield and the Super 12 and the MPC. I've been good, thanks.
G'day. How you going? You right? It's the stuff. I'm Grant Latimer. This is Rover. And this is a wild turkey. Today we'll be mustering some cattle, checking out some herbal medicines, horse trekking down one of the East Coast's most stunning beaches, and finding out why these guys are such a pest. So I'll spot you in just a tickie. How you going? I'd like you to meet a good mate of mine, Hamish Williams, owner of Turi House Station, the oldest Angus cattle stud in New Zealand. G'day. As you can see, we've got our hands pretty full here at the moment with these bulls. So if you don't mind, we're going to carry on with them up to the yards. So we'll catch up with you up there.
Grant, if you could just take that left flank over there, please, just to
No worries.
stop and run out that track.
Okay, nature lovers. Here's a question for you. What do these guys and these guys have in common? Now, I bet that's got you thinking. Cattle and whales. How are they related? Well, believe it or not, scientists reckon they're both mammals that descended from the same common ancestor. Except 50 million years ago, one branch of the family decided to go back and live in the sea. And a good thing, eh, Rover? Otherwise, we'd have to build much bigger stockyards. Hey, boss?
Better watch your step, boy. Right, now that we've got that sorted out. Dip, dip. Try to imagine my right hand here is the North Island of New Zealand. Northland, Auckland, Lake Taupo. This is the Bay of Plenty, East Cape, and we're here at Turi House Station, just north of Gisborne. Let's go and see what Hamish is up to.
That was a pretty handy map there, Grant.
Like that, Hamish, dear?
Yeah, I did.
And this is a pretty handy bull. So I'll tell you what. Check this out. This is what I call a decent looking bull.
Now,
Look at that.
the director says I have to apologise at this point for inflicting my cattle photos on you. But hey, fair's fair. As a Simmental breeder, You've got to understand, I couldn't let Hamish get away with pushing the Black Angus as the best breed of cattle. Now, could I? Anyway, sorry about that. Let's get on with the drenching. Now, when you see stock in a yard all lined up and well behaved, you tend to forget you're dealing with a pretty powerful animal. They can get a bit toey sometimes, like in the spring, when the older bulls start fighting for dominance over the herd. I'll tell you what, even the All Black scrum would collapse pushing up against one of these guys, I reckon. Drenching's one of those jobs I quite enjoy. It keeps the parasites down and keeps your cattle healthy. But you've probably heard enough from me about one of my favourite topics. So let's bail on out of here and get into the wild.
Well, that's it then, Hamish. I'll get going.
Oh, fair enough, Grant. Thanks.
Well, I'll take the horse for a bit of a tiki tour down the coast.
Oh, that'd be good. If you go up to Top Cherry Howe, you might find some wild turkeys up there. You might get a shot.
Good, I got the rifle there. I'll grab one and have a feed.
Just be careful in case there's a couple of other hunters up there.
Okie dokie. Okay then, boss. I'll catch you later, eh?
That's good.
See you at the bull sale.
Thanks.
Come on, horse.
The great thing about living on a farm is that you've got Mother Nature right on your back doorstep. Like this Australasian Harrier, for example, busy eating its lunch on the side of the road. It's a bird you'll see hanging around a lot of New Zealand farms. Actually, farmers used to think they killed lambs, but that's not true. They'll kill small birds and fish and mice, but they're really just as happy feeding on animals that are already dead. So, they're really just one of nature's caretakers, helping to keep the place neat and tidy. Now, this one's just spotted us. So its first instinct is to grab hold of its prey and spread its wings over it to hide it. Except, we're obviously too big, bad and ugly.
Come on, That's great stuff.
Well, I don't know about you, but I could kill for a brew.
Where you go? Go on. Where you go?
So while Rover fetches me some sticks for the fire, I'm going to see if I can spot some manuka to make us a drink. I think I saw some up there.
Now, Captain Cook called it tea tree because he discovered that you could boil up the leaves and it made quite a respectable cuppa. Now, believe it or not, Captain Cook actually brewed some manuka into some beer, which he reckoned tasted pretty good. But what would he know? I mean, have you ever tasted English beer? Enough said then. Not a bad little brew. A wee bit bitter, but you can always add a bit of sugar or honey to it. So, you go and do what you got to do, and Rover and I'll catch you after the break. Spot you.
Better watch your step, boy. New Zealand mainland to see the sun. But as you work your way around the steep cliffs that rise up out of the Pacific Ocean, it's easy to see that the land around here is facing a really uncertain future because the east coast is slowly but surely falling into the sea. The problem began in the late 1800s when the British colonists arrived and burned off the lush native forest and they broke in their farms. The only trouble with that was the soft bedrock the whole east coast rests on suddenly lost its protection from the wind and the rain and began to crumble into the ocean. So mind how you go, Ro. Can be a wee bit tricky around here sometimes. It's funny to think that the cliffs once came right out to this very spot we were riding. But then again, if it wasn't for the hills breaking down, we wouldn't have this amazing beach to ride on at all. And isn't it a beauty? Actually, it looks as if there's been a bit of a storm at sea in the last couple of days. I might have a bit of a look around. We might be able to find something for tea. There you go, horse. You stay there.
Okay then, we're going to head up this beach and head back into the hills into a block of native bush on Turi House Station. Find some of those turkeys. But right now, I happen to know that this beach here is pretty good for crabs. So I'm going to get my boots off and go for a bit of a paddle, try and flush some out so we can take a good look at them.
Today we're on the lookout for paddle crabs, which swimmers know about only too well. Because they'll bite your toes if you stand too near them. These crabs like to feed on shellfish, so if you go hunting for them, the best place to look is where you'd normally find bivalves, like pippies and tuatuas.
Finding crabs with your toes is certainly not the recommended way. Usually use a net or something, but I haven't got one, so I'm just going to improvise. I think I see one here now. Look, here. Got one. Look at that. Woo. Look at that, Rover.
That's what we're looking for, mate. You go and find some. Woo-hoo-hoo, Rover. Watch out, boy. If I can bite my toes, they'll bite your nose.
Good boy, Rover. Good boy. You're the one, aren't you? Good boy.
Rover's pretty good at this crab hunting, isn't he? Ooh, look out, Rover.
Check it out. Where's it? So small. There's about 80 different types of crabs scuttling around the shorelines of New Zealand. We've been lucky enough to get ourselves some paddle crabs. Now, they're called paddle crabs because their back legs are shaped like paddles, which they swim with. Neat, eh? Look at that, Rover.
Now, they may not look very elegant, but the paddle crab's flippers allow it to travel faster and further than most crabs. Even so, its flash feet don't always allow it to get away from its enemies. Like a blue cod, keen to have some paddle crab for dinner. Hey, hey, hey! The old paddle crab can move quick when they want to, eh?
Now, crabs are crustaceans, which means they've got a hard outer shell called a carapace. That means they're in the same family as shrimps and crayfish, and they've got 8 legs. Let's count them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come to think of it, they've got 10 legs, really. Except the front pair have turned into what we'd call arms, with big claws on the end. Just the thing to scare off a hungry predator. You see, from time to time, crabs have to shed their skins in order to grow. And when the crab skin's new, it's soft and vulnerable to attack. Not this time, buddy. With the cod scared off, at least for a little while, the crab uses its legs to dig its way into the sand. Because, as every wise crab knows, sometimes the best way of dealing with trouble is to hide from it.
Right, it's time to leave the beach and head for the hills. Check out the situation on those turkeys, and we'll spot you soon. Bye-bye.
Up the Turihouse stream that runs through the cattle station on its way out to the sea. I like riding up creek beds. Not only is it a lot of fun, but it's often a lot easier on the horse than going across country. Besides, Rover really likes the water too. Hey, Rover. The only thing is, you got to be a bit careful, because some of these creeks can get real deep, real quick. Like now. Oh dear. There you go, fella. Panic's over. He's got his feet on the ground again now. Well, here we are at the top ridge of Turihouse Station, where the wild turkeys are supposed to hang out. In fact, looks like there's some there now. Yep, they're so close, I can almost taste them. And I really like the look of that one over there. He'd do me.
These will be the turkeys that Hamish told us about. They're one of several game birds like the pheasants and peafowls that have been brought to New Zealand over the years. These ones over here are descendants of some that were liberated in this area more than a century ago. Go and check them out.
The problem with these wild turkeys is that they can carry avian tuberculosis, which can get into our cattle herds. It doesn't affect humans, but it can make the cattle real sick. What happens is, the birds perch on the cattle trough and infect the water by leaving their droppings in it. And then the cattle drink the infected water, and that's how they can get the tuberculosis. The funny thing is, the turkey meat is safe for humans to eat. So Hamish lets hunters come onto his farm to keep the turkeys under control.
Ooh. You know, I'd be a bit wary about shooting these turkeys down here. I'd hate one of my bullets to stray off and hit one of Hamish's stud Angus. So what we're going to do is head over to the native bush over here, where the turkeys sit up there and roost when they're not feeding. But we better keep a pretty watchful eye out, because we might run into those hunters that Hamish told us about. So come on, let's bail. Come on, Rover.
Oh, good shot.
There they are now, a couple of bow hunters. They got one too. Let's go and say good day. G'day, how are you? You right?
Yep.
Stuff. I'm Grant Latimer.
I'm Jenny Bollivan.
Yeah, Jenny.
Yeah, Philip Ormond, Grant.
Yeah, Philip, how are you? This is Rover. Come here, boy.
Rover.
Hi,
I
Rover.
see you got one then, eh?
Yeah, we were pretty lucky.
Good on you. Is it cruel getting them with arrows or they die straight out?
No, you shoot them in the chest and the heart, and yeah, they die straight away. And plus, we eat everything that we shoot, so nothing goes to waste.
That's the stuff. Is it difficult to pull back on these bows, Phil?
You can have a go if you want.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'm in. Good. This shouldn't be too much of a problem. What is it? Good boy. Oh, well, I missed the apple, but I got the pack.
I think you might deserve a prize for that one.
Oh, choice.
Dinner.
Christmas dinner.
Good evening, well, there's me dinner. Hey! Woo! Thanks a lot. Excellent, guys. There's your machine back.
Thank you.
That's the stuff. See you.
See ya.
Look at that. A perfect end to a perfect day. Okay, Rove, watch out, mate. I've got to get this turkey off the fire.
Oh, look at that, eh, Rover? Woo! Now, this is an old camp oven, like the early settlers used. It cooks the meat really slowly and just about makes everything taste great. So, let's see how our birds turned out. You right? Now, I haven't done a lot to it. Just given it a bit of a rub with a bit of butter, cleaned it up. That'll do, get out of that. And popped it in the old oven with a bit of water and let the old camp oven do the rest. Bit hot for you yet, mate. Right there. Oh, look at that. Right. Right. Now to go with our wild turkey, the paddle crabs that we caught this morning. Now I've popped them in the billy with a bit of water and put a wee bit of manuka in there just to give them a bit of a tangy flavour. What you do is you grab that shell, peel it back, and you scoop out the white flesh. Not much of it, but it tastes beautiful. Mmm. You want some? Give me that. You like that? Well, that's it from Rover and me on Wild About New Zealand this week. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. We've certainly have a boss time down here on the East Coast. So I'll catch you next week, eh? Hurry for now.
Watch your step, boy. This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.
I'm Grant Latimer, and this is my mate Rover. This week on Wild About New Zealand, we're going on a kayak safari on the Coromandel. We'll be fishing for snapper and doing a bit of diving with a woman called Lee and a bloke called Mavis. True, good mates of mine they are too. Along the way, there's a couple of real neat things I want to show you. But first, I got to pack this lot away. So I'll spot you in a tickie. Hey, good boy. Pick it up, pick it up. Tell you what, I've been looking forward to this all week. There's nothing more than I like to do than to get away and do a spot of fishing. So the plan is to hook up with a couple of my rock fishing mates tomorrow morning and paddle out to a spot that they reckon we can get ourselves some kawai and a few snapper. But to get there, we're going to travel through some of New Zealand's most rugged bush. And we can't let that go by without taking a bit of a tiki tour now, can we? Hey, Rover. Now, I thought this would be about as good a time as any to show you where we are. Where's that stick, Rover? Bring it here. Good boy. Come over here and watch. Come here. Now, this is the North Island.
There's the Bay of Plenty.
Far north, around here, Mount Taranaki. See that? Right, this is the Coromandel Peninsula up in here, which is about 50k east of Auckland. It was back here in about 1852 that gold was first discovered. And since that time, it's been revealing all sorts of other hidden treasures. So, let's go and have a bit of a look-see, shall we?
The Coromandel rainforest covers the scars of ancient volcanoes, which collapsed long ago to create a land of wild crags and tumbling waterfalls. We're on our way up to a place where the last of the giant kauri trees that once covered this land are still standing. But if we keep our eyes peeled, we might just be able to spot Archie's frog. It's named after Gilbert Archie, the bloke who first recorded it in 1921. And because it lives on the forest floor, it's pretty hard to find.
There it is. You might not be able to see him because he's about the size of my little finger. But I'm going to try and catch it and hold it up to you so the camera can pick it up. Here we go. I've got him. Isn't he great?
Unlike most frogs that live in ponds or streams, these little fellas go through the tadpole stage while still in the egg. Now, this one can't be breeding, which is a pity, because it's a male. And as a species, they're very unique, because the dads carry the babies around on their back.
And for a frog, that's a great way to get a jump start on life. High above in the forest canopy, other youngsters are getting their start in life. But it'll take these kauri seedlings a couple of 100 years to become fully grown. You gotta be careful where you walk near these guys, because their roots are surprisingly sensitive. But you can't really appreciate their enormous size until you get close to them.
And what about this? Just look at the size of this amazing kauri. What do you think of that, Rover? He's a whopper, isn't it? Now, I know that some of you like to hug trees, so get a load of this. I reckon it'd take about 10 people to get their arms around this one. Amazing.
150 years ago, the Coromandel was covered with kauri. But then the British Navy decided that they'd make pretty good masts. And the Americans wanted the wood for staircases and furniture. So we chopped them down in their thousands.
Come on, Rover, that was good, wasn't it?
We're heading down to Miranda on the eastern side of the Coromandel, which is home to hundreds of thousands of wading birds. They fly in from all over the world to feed on the rich supply of shellfish in the Firth of Thames. So every time I'm up this way, I like to get out the binocs and check out what new visitors we've got and what they're up to. Now, some of our wading birds travel huge distances to come and feed in New Zealand. For example, these red knots and godwits travel all the way from the Arctic just to come and spend their winter holidays down here in the sun. They're not silly, are they? Are they, we? It's amazing to think that such small birds can travel such huge distances. They must have a good airline. Attention, all red knots. You're cleared for takeoff on runway 5. Your next stop, Siberia and Alaska.
Pick it up, pick it up.
Bing bong. The Pied Oyster Catcher flight to South Canterbury is now boarding at gate 19. Hurry along, please. Calling Mr. Rye Bill. Would a Mr. Rye Bill please report to gate 7? Your flight is about to depart. Well, that was good. But we've really got to be pushing on.